Cars. They're such a bad investment. The whole car industry has effectively become a Ponzi scheme. They are the only expensive asset that you can buy that's guaranteed to lose a third of its value the second you drive it off the forecourt. I saw a lot of comments in my last video about debt traps and people not understanding why cars are such a bad investment, so I thought I'd give my reasoning. The reason it's got to this point is that there are two types of people that can buy cars. People that can get good debt and people that can get bad debt. Good debt is what becomes a tax-deductible asset, and bad debt is one that takes away from your after-tax income. For example, businesses will fleet buy electric cars because they're a 100% tax-deductible expense from the yearly tax bill, which means less corporation tax and an asset that can depreciate as much as it wants because it counts as an on-the-book loss when they sell the cars in 3 years' time, once again reducing their tax bill. This then means new cars can cost between 50 and 70k and they won't bat an eyelid. This then means for the consumer, the average person, cars become bad debt. Unless you are self-employed, you cannot put any of your car payments against tax. This means a car is both debt and a depreciating asset that also costs you money to run. This means for most people that keeping an up-to-date car is basically a cycle of servicing debt. A point that was raised, which is a fair point, is why can't you buy a cheap car and then run it into the ground? You absolutely can do that, but most people need a car that's both reliable and cost effective. If it breaks down all the time and you're having to repair it and then you have to scrap it, you then have to scrape together an amount of money to then buy another car, which would most likely be at least $3,000. So most people get stuck in a cycle that every 3 years they put down between 5 and 10 grand and make payments of between £200 and £500 a month, thus allowing them to keep a new car while trying to keep the cost down. And finance companies make a fortune facilitating this. This was a lot of what the interest rate scandal was over. Companies selling financial products at ridiculous interest rates and then not disclosing that they are taking commission on those interest rates. And the industry was so overinflated that nobody noticed. My final point about cars being awful is that also because of net zero, nobody knows what car to invest in. Electric cars cost more than combustion engine cars, but have tax-deductible benefits, but are actually far less efficient vehicles. But the government haven't invested in infrastructure for electric vehicles, meaning if you're doing a fair decent amount of miles a week, it's probably more efficient for you to have a combustion engine car. But then, if the government finally decides to phase out petrol and diesel vehicles, well then the value of your car nosedive. The bottom line is, buy what you can afford, don't stretch yourself, and always have some form of contingency fund.